Hi, what I want to do today is I actually want to show you how we help our students get a 4.0 grade point average at university. And I've got this cool looking diagram that is actually going to explain it all to you. So the first thing we want to do is zoom in here, okay? And we're going to put 4.0 GPA here, okay? Because this is our goal. We want to get that 4.0 GPA. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this diagram and we're going to look at the different challenges that that students have, and then we look at solutions. So we're going to go kind of in this direction. Okay. So let's kind of zoom in again. So one of the biggest challenges students have is that they actually doubt that they can get a 4.0 GPA. And on top of that, a lot of these students are overwhelmed and they're stressed. Okay, so there's doubt, and then there's also a lot of stress that they experience. Now, when a student has a lot of doubt and stress, think of it like this, right? Their emotional state is really low, and when their emotional state gets low, so does their brain power. Okay, so it's very hard for them to succeed if they have a lot of doubt, stress, and overwhelm. So what we want to do is we want to help them reduce that doubt and stress. Okay, and by helping them work on their mindset, they are now able to improve their emotional state. And we do this by giving them better beliefs and better ways of thinking about what they're capable of and what they can achieve. Here's a very good example. Imagine if you have a car, okay, and the car has a nice body, it's got nice tires, great paint job. But if the engine is not good, that car is not going to get you to your destination, okay? So the engine of a car is very similar to the mindset of a student. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get that engine turned into like a Ferrari engine for the student so they can get to their destination. Okay, so once they have that strong engine, now all of a sudden things just begin to work a lot better. Okay, and they can handle challenges a lot better, and they have more fun, and as a result they can kind of deal with, the bumps in the road, so to speak. Okay, so the next thing we want to do here to help them reduce their doubt and their stress levels is to show them proven strategies. Okay, we want to teach them proven strategies that if they implement, they will be very successful. Okay, and these proven strategies have been tried and tested for 20 years, and they have worked on over 6,000 students so far. Okay, so by applying these proven strategies that have been shown to work for many years, it's going to save them a lot of time, energy, and frustration, and they're going to start seeing results very quickly. And then what we want to do is we want to help them to develop consistent effort in the right areas. Okay, so we want to help them to put in the right effort. Okay, so we're going to help them put in the effort, but it's not just effort, it's consistent effort in the right areas. Okay, so I'm just going to put right areas, okay, because what we don't want is them to do what most students do, and that is just work hard all the time without actually being strategic, and by kind of putting effort in areas which are not going to result in a better performance. Okay, so it's not about putting blind effort in, it's about putting effort in a consistent basis in the right areas. Okay, and as a result of doing these three things, your teen is going to become more confident and happier at school. Why? Because they're now starting to see that the results are coming. They're more, they believe in themselves a lot more, and they actually have less self-doubt in terms of what they can accomplish. Okay. Now, the next stage in terms of helping your teen get a 4.0 GPA is to help them with their time management. So a lot of times students, they kind of know what to do, and they're confident they can do it, but their time management kind of isn't that great. So what we want to do here, put this in, time management, is we want to help them improve their productivity and efficiency. So one of the best things that I've ever discovered is a concept called speed of implementation. And this concept of speed of implementation basically means starting things as soon as possible. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. There was a research study done, and they looked at all these successful people in different industries, and they tried to figure out, what is the one thing that all these successful people do in these different industries, and they couldn't find anything except for one thing, and that was that all these successful people, they started things right away. And this is what speed of implementation is, and this is what we teach our students and what we will teach your team. And as a result, a lot of our students, they naturally eliminate 50 to 70% of all their issues at school. Procrastination goes down, stress levels go down. They can remember what needs to be done because they've started it sooner. They have more time to fine-tune their responses. They have time to get extra help, and they can even go back and they can review their material before they hand it in, so they can make sure that there's no errors, right? So there's so many benefits by applying this concept called speed of implementation. Another thing we do that helps our students improve their time management is to help them see where their time goes. So we create visual schedules for them. And what this does is it allows them to see exactly where their time is going. So they can actually see during their day that, hey, they got half an hour here, maybe they got an hour here, maybe they got 15 minutes here. And as a result, if they use this time wisely, they can actually be very productive and actually be ahead of the game, and in fact, maybe even ahead of their classes. So the other thing that we also want to do is help them to improve their focus levels, as well as reduce their distractions. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, the first thing we need to do here is help them see that the things that are potentially causing them to be distracted or lose focus, if we can actually take these things and help them get to these things after they've done their schoolwork, all of a sudden magic happens, because now they're looking forward to doing that thing that they want. And as a result, they're more focused and less distracted, because they know that they can still do these things, but they'll have to get their schoolwork done first. So what we've done is we've actually taken their distraction and turned it into a reward, which allows them to actually increase their focus and reduce their distraction levels. And as a result of this, their productivity improves 2 to 3 times. Okay, so that is something that we help our students with. Now, the last part of this diagram has to deal with poor study and exam writing skills. So a lot of our students, they just, they might be confident, they might know what to do, they might be very good with their time, but the problem is they just have a difficult time knowing how to study correctly and writing exams properly. So what we want to do here is we want to teach them how to study in a very, very effective way, so they're going to actually study the material that they're going to be tested on, the valuable stuff that they need to know, so they're not going to waste time doing the wrong things. So one of the things we teach them is something called the Class 2 exam cycle. And basically what this is we teach them what to do before their classes, so they're much better prepared for the classes. We teach them how to pay attention in their classes, so they can actually anticipate what is valuable, and they can actually, they have a very good chance of figuring out what potential exam questions will be like, so they can actually study this valuable material. As well as the fact we also show them what to do after their classes, so they can take this valuable information and then they can put it in their long-term memory. And so when they actually do study for their tests and their exams, they don't have to start from scratch, and it's already in their memory. Okay. Then what we do is we show them how to build knowledge and improve their memory. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that we've been taught is that having a lot of knowledge means that we know stuff that's in our head. So that's how most people think of knowledge, that we have a lot of stuff in our head. But the problem is that if we know a lot of stuff in here in our heads, but we're not good at explaining it, no one can tell that we have knowledge. So what we need to do is we need to be able to take what's in our head that is valuable. We need to be able to take the valuable information that's in our head and be able to articulate it so well that when your child is writing that test, they can actually explain it and articulate it better than the way they were taught. Now, if they can do that, there is an excellent chance for them to do well on their tests and exams. And as a result, their memory will become superb. And a lot of our students end up developing like a photographic memory by using our system here. And lastly, what we want to do is we want to teach them exactly how to write exams correctly. So what we do is we show them our 4.0 exam system. And this exam system is almost like a checklist. We kind of show them exactly step by step how to write an exam so they have the greatest chance of getting the highest score. And a lot of times people think that the more you know, the better you'll do on the test. So what we do is we teach them actually how to build their confidence while they're writing that test. And as they're building their confidence, their brain starts to function better. So even if they don't know how to answer a question earlier on in the test, the fact that they've written the exam correctly, they can always come back to it, and there's a good chance their brain can help them kind of figure out the answers that maybe they had a difficult time with in the beginning. Okay, so as a result, they have developed excellent study and exam writing skills. And this is how our students are able to get a 4.0 grade point average. All right, thank you very much.